Did you know 70% of the world's population lacks this essential nutrient? This deficiency has been related to a variety of health problems, including a reduced immune system, bone abnormalities, tiredness, and even psychological disorders. But don't worry, we will share the amazing advantages of vitamin D. So viewers, don't allow ignorance to shadow your health. Continue watching to find useful tips for boosting your vitamin D levels, even if you live in a sun-deprived location or have little sun exposure. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin that belongs to the vitamin D family, which also comprises vitamins D1, D2, and D3. When you are physically exposed to sunshine, your body naturally creates vitamin D. To guarantee proper amounts of vitamin D in your blood, you may also receive it from particular meals and supplements. Vitamin D serves many purposes. The most important are calcium and phosphorus absorption regulation and appropriate immune system function. Here's more on the advantages of vitamin D, as well as information on the drawbacks, how much you need, and vitamin D-rich foods. Vitamin D may fight disease. Aside from its major effects, evidence indicates that vitamin D may also have a role in lowering the chance of developing multiple sclerosis. A 2018 analysis of population-based research showed that low vitamin D levels are associated with an increased risk of MS. Lowering the risk of heart disease. Low vitamin D levels have been related to an increased risk for cardiac illness, including hypertension, heart failure, and stroke. However, it is uncertain if vitamin D absence causes heart disease or only shows poor health when you have a chronic ailment. Lowering the probability of serious diseases. Although research is conflicting, vitamin D may reduce the likelihood of severe flu and COVID-19 infections. According to a recent study, low vitamin D levels correlate to acute respiratory distress syndrome. Boosting immune system wellness. People with low vitamin D levels may be more susceptible to infections and autoimmune disorders such as rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, and inflammatory bowel disease. Vitamin D may help to regulate mood and reduce depression. According to research, vitamin D may have an essential role in mood regulation and lowering the risk of depression. A study of 7,534 persons discovered that those who took vitamin D supplements and had negative emotions saw an improvement in their symptoms. Vitamin D supplementation may benefit those suffering from depression who are also vitamin D deficient. Low vitamin D levels were also shown to be a risk factor for more severe fibromyalgia symptoms, anxiety, and sadness in another investigation. It may help with weight loss. People who are overweight are more likely to have low vitamin D levels. In one research, patients with obesity who took vitamin D supplements in addition to following a weight reduction diet plan lost more weight and fat mass than the placebo group. In previous research, participants who took regular calcium and vitamin D supplements lost more weight than those who took an empty stomach supplement. According to the researchers, the increased calcium and vitamin D may have suppressed appetite. Although current evidence does not support the assumption that vitamin D causes weight reduction, there is a link between vitamin D and weight. Vitamin D deficiency. Various things can affect your capacity to get enough vitamin D from sunshine alone. If you live in a polluted environment, apply sunscreen, spend the most of your time inside, live in a large city where buildings obstruct sunlight. Having darker skin, the more melanin your skin has, the less vitamin D it can absorb. And if you smoke, you may be less likely to absorb enough vitamin D from the sun. These variables might raise your chances of developing vitamin D insufficiency. That is why it is important to acquire part of your vitamin D from sources other than sunshine. What are the signs and symptoms of a vitamin D deficiency? Adults suffering from vitamin D insufficiency may experience the following symptoms: fatigue, aches, and pains, significant pain or weakening in the bones or muscles, stress fractures, particularly in the legs, pelvis, and hips. The dangers of too much vitamin D. If you take too many vitamin D tablets, you may acquire too much of it. This is unlikely to occur due to food or sun exposure, since your body controls the amount of vitamin D generated by sun exposure. Vitamin D poisoning may cause an increase in calcium levels in the blood. This may lead to a range of health problems, including nausea, laziness, throwing up, abdominal discomfort, desiccation, perplexity, and increase in thirst. Some vitamin D-rich foods. Some foods naturally contain vitamin D, while others are fortified with it. Vitamin D may be found in the following foods: sardines, tuna in cans, fish liver oil, liver of beef, egg white. Pronoun: ordinary mushrooms and those exposed to UV light. Fortified milk, some enriched cereals and oatmeals, enriched yogurt, fortified orange juice. It might be difficult to receive enough vitamin D daily by sun exposure and diet alone. Therefore, vitamin D supplements may be beneficial. How much do you require? The quantity of vitamin D necessary for optimum functioning has been debated. Recent research suggests that humans need more vitamin D than previously assumed. Some of the major debates regarding vitamin D are as follows: standardization of vitamin D measurement procedures, the distinction between testing for free and total vitamin D. The vitamin D limit for the general population is about a certain circumstance, such as pregnancy or nursing, and health concern, such as renal failure or osteoporosis. The acceptable range for blood serum levels is 50 to 100 nanomoles per liter. Depending on your blood level, you may need more vitamin D. Well, that's all the delightful tips for today, but the fun isn't over yet. This channel's serving up more feel-good vitamin goodness where this came from. Before you enter the sunlight, why not help us spread a bit more by joining our crew? That subscription button is crying out for attention. Don't leave it hanging. With a single click, you'll always see what we're up to next. Now, get your daily dosage of joy.